Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it, got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10 to 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
Hello, everyone. We are back with episode 7 of Buds Mafia. A little tamer intro for today. We're both a little tired. Early Monday morning here for the fellas. The high from the Four Nations has definitely gone down, but we're still definitely celebrating that win. We're gonna go right into the Four Nations. Probably the most anticipated game I've seen in a long time. And I'm a Leafs fan. We're both Leafs fans. This is the most anxious I've ever felt for a game for a long time. Our country was on the line. If we didn't lose, we were going to become part of the United States. Jackson, how are you? And where were you for that game on Thursday last week?
Yeah, I drove out to Quebec with some of my buddies to go skiing and left at like 11:30 in the morning on Thursday morning to get up there. So 6-hour drive. Stay at the Airbnb, and then it was so funny. Not everyone was there, but all the guys who were there, we were literally in the middle of making dinner when the national anthem came on, and everyone stopped, took their hat off, put it over their chest, and started singing the Canadian national anthem. And then the American anthem came on, and we all booed. In respect. Respectful way.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was an amazing game. I've never been so nervous. My heart rate, I had to take my Apple Watch off again. I'm finding that the Apple Watch just can't be worn during these games. Bills games, my heart rate chills at around 140 beats per minute, which is just ridiculous.
That's hard.
And we were at 160 on Thursday night.
Oh my god!
Overtime, just about put me in a body bag.
Yeah,
especially Austin Matthews, 2 chances put me in a body.
Yeah, that's 160 fucked.
Dude, it was ridiculous.
That's crazy. So I stayed in for the game. A lot of my friends went out. And here's my thing. Ever since I've played, I am an incredibly superstitious person. And obviously the Leafs go to the Game 7 every single season. They play usually 90% of the time. It's going to be Boston. It's going to be Boston. From Game 1 to 6, we don't really go out to watch the games. Maybe Game 1. And we play great. And then Game 7, we all get together at our friend Nicholas's house. We always watch Game 7, and then they lose. We don't watch at all the whole series, and we play really good. In Game 7, we all get together, and they lose. So today, or at least for the Four Nations, I was like, hey, we watched a lot of games together. Last game, we watched against the Americans. We lost. So I was like, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to be the Canadian hero that we needed me to be. So I stayed in. We won 3-2. 16 million viewers across North America. I think in the last 10 years, it's the highest watched game that's not a Stanley Cup final, which makes a lot of sense. Just an incredible game. I think the hype just made it, the buildup was incredible ever since the loss in Montreal on Thursday or on the previous Saturday. And then this game, I mean, fuck man, I just wish our anthem was so much better. It's such a good anthem, but its singing was just not good at all. It's not good.
It from the beginning. Like, stop finding these random fucking fuckers to come and sing the national anthem. Get a designated Canadian national anthem singer for any type of big games, any playoff games, any type of games like that. Have one for each region. Have one for the West. Have one for the East. Have one for Ontario.
Yeah,
and make that person designated. It's what the fucking Bruins do. They have the one dude, apparently. I don't know if you ever saw this story about the one guy who was like a bartender at the TD Gardens. And he got escorted down to sing the national anthem. And now he's just the guy who sings the national anthem. Like in the big games, like in playoff games. Like he's the big fat guy who always wears the tie and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's cool. Do that.
That's cool. Yeah, we need an old country hick from Western Canada wearing plaid, coming out to the arena and just belt. Because we have a great anthem. And just...
It is good.
It just was not... Even the French version, I know, like, it sounds good. Like, I don't care what people say. I will say the American anthem is fantastic. As much as the state between the two countries right now, I do like the American anthem. It place in Boston where the anthem was going, the place was bumping. And I
wanted the girl to stop singing. If I was the girl who was singing the anthem, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Do you see she changed the anthem?
Yes.
I didn't know that till after. I mean, me and my dad were watching the game together, and he's like, "Oh, CBC posted, like, oh yeah, she changed the anthem," And we listened. I guess it was a shot at Trump. Like, I can't remember what the exact words were. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, nice. It's just no one got it. So you can't really get hyped for it or can't really understand it. Like, we understood at the time, we knew she messed up, but we didn't know it was on purpose, and we didn't get that part. So it kind of was pointless the whole time.
It got like 2 seconds into the anthem, and I was like, stop singing and let the crowd sing. That's way cooler than you trying to opera sing the U.S. national anthem. Yeah. like they lost some points for that. In my opinion.
Yeah, we made hard on ourselves, right? But both anthems were booed as I expected. Not too crazy, I don't think, for both sides, but I think there was a lot of red in that building for Canada.
There was a lot.
Definitely more Americans, but I don't know, like 60-40 maybe Americans, or maybe 65-35, something like that, but definitely a lot of Canadians. But fuck, man, what a game.
It's tough to say because all the Canadians buy the lower seats. Like you're not buying a fucking, just you buy a fucking 300 level seat.
Yeah.
In TD Gardens wearing a Canadian jersey in Boston, you're gonna be in some trouble.
Especially like, I mean, if you're booing in Boston, you might get fucking strangled by an Irish traveler. But yeah, we're gonna hop right into the game. McKinnon opens the scoring right away. Tournament MVP. I think that was his 4th goal of the tournament. It was just, that's how you beat Hellebuck. Just high glove side or high blocker side. There's like 5 guys in front. Nothing he really could have done.
The replay of the goal was incredible.
That's what they needed to do against the first game. We didn't shoot at all. I don't care if it's outside. That mentality that game was shoot the fucking puck. We had so many shots right off the bat. Get guys in front, get right at Hellebuck's ear, because again, he's the best goalie in the world. I don't even think he had a bad game. Like, I mean, he let in 3 goals. McKinnon's goal, what can you do? Bennett's goal all alone, shelf. And then McDavid goal. You're leaving the best player in the world right in the middle of the ice, right in front of you. So, but then Brady Tkachuk answered, I think like 10 minutes later, that he was fired up.
Greasy goal.
Yeah, he was fired up. But like that face, that celebration was coming from a guy who's played in Ottawa for 6-7 years and never sniffed playoffs.
I don't understand how you have a brother who looks like Matthew. And then you have Brady, who looks like he's on like a fucking
he's a thumb.
He looks like he's on a Make-A-Wish list. Like
he looks like a thumb.
How does he look like that? I've never actually really seen his face that close up until this time.
He's a weird looking guy.
Yeah. When him and Matthew were in the box after last Saturday, after they fought, I was like, how the fuck are they brothers? And then you see their dad, and Keith is kind of just like a fucking
he's just a
pinball.
He's
just a There's a lot of genetics going on in this family.
If you look at Keith in his playing days, he does look a lot like Brady. Like no hair, just a pale, bald face. That's kind of what he looks like. But then Jake Sanderson scores in, I think, the second period. Again, it's a greasy goal. Kind of puck just bounces out in front. And then Marner. I mean, I was tweeting about this. I was texting all day. I love, but I also hate how both Leafs showed up in one of the biggest games of their lives. Let's hope they continue this. It's funny when Matthews, he quoted saying, this is a game 7. And obviously Montreal fans and everyone are like, oh yes, Matthews, please treat it like a game 7, because his game 7s haven't been that great. But again, people can say what they want about Matthews. I mean, I know he didn't score the tournament, which that's what he's known for. But I mean, both him and Marner had 2 assists. So I
think Matthews had 3.
3 or 2 goals.
In that game. Yeah, sorry. In the tournament.
That game. Marner had 2 assists in that game. I mean, OT winner. Yes, at times was Marner invisible during tournaments? Yes, but I think when the Marner showed up, which I've never said that ever about Marner, he played great. And again, that assist to Bennett was disgusting. He middle of the ice, dished to Bennett screaming down the left side, shelf. And then McDavid, I mean, you can blame Matthews all you want, which I would blame Matthews on that goal. I mean, you have the defense going to the corner towards Marner, who's dangerous passing the puck. I don't know why, if you're Matthews, you're helping him on that strong side, and then you leave McDavid middle of the ice, snipes it, top cheese. That was unbelievable. I've never screamed louder. The fact that game ended at like midnight, I couldn't sleep till like 2:30. I had so much adrenaline.
Me and the boys immediately after the win, sang the national anthem and then shotgun 4 beers each.
Dude, and also a guy just Binnington. What a goddamn animal. He was ridiculed the whole tournament. He made big saves, but also he would just let in that 1 or 2 squeaker, which make his next game availability very kind of confusing. But I mean, again, the first goal, Brady Tkachuk, just a scramble in front, tipped it, went in. Jake Sanderson, same thing, kind of scrambling up, puck comes loose, he scores it. Those saves he made in overtime. The one on Matthews coming right side to left, pad save. Matthews usually buries those. And then right off the face-off, the next play, Matthews gets the puck off the draw, rips it high, glove save Binnington. And then that save on the goal line by Brady Tkachuk, that glove save. I mean, he's a big game player. I don't care what his numbers are throughout the year. I mean, they're not the greatest, but I mean, I'd rather.
No, he played amazing.
Yeah,
he played really well.
I'd take a Stanley Cup goaltender over, I mean, a guy who has the best statistics that year. If he's won a Game 7, he's won a Stanley Cup, he's won big games, I'm taking that guy any day of the week. And he proved it, and he was definitely emotional after that one. He had a big goal from John Cooper, and that was awesome.
Got to kill Hellebuck, eh? Because the whole narrative around Hellebuck going into this was that, struggles kind of come.
He played great, though. I mean, what can you say?
He did play good.
Like in
he
other
played
games,
good for the most of the tournament.
Yeah, he did. And just, I mean, his goals against was, I don't think he let in 2 in the whole tournament. I mean, he was unbelievable. What a tournament. I kind of get into Four Nations recap. Just the funny thing is, and obviously Americans on Twitter saying, even though, like, part of my take, they were all over it saying, this is like America's going to win. They were betting like it was huge. It was the biggest news all over social media. Then, of course, they're just trolling. But as soon as we win, they say congrats to Canada winning the All-Star game. Like, fuck off. It's
or the exhibition.
They're trolling. They're trolling. They know they're being dumbasses. And yes, will this tournament ever happen again? No. The Four Nations is done. It will never happen again. They'll never do this again during the All-Star break. McDavid even said he doesn't want to do it again. With the World Cup coming every 4 years, Olympics every 4 years, so every 2 years you have best on best. There's no point doing this again. Honestly, I think the political landscape of going on right now made this 10 times better and more crucial. If this outside stuff wasn't going on, it would still be huge, but it just amplified it to another stratosphere. Canada, if they haven't had this in 9 years, a lot of guys on the American team have never done best on best. Like in Canadians, you have Crosby, you have Doughty, but Americans like Matthews never done it. The Kachuk's never done it. Eichel, like these guys have never been in this type of atmosphere before, and that's why I think I always gave Canada the edge. Like I don't care how old Crosby is, 3 Stanley Cups, 2 Olympic golds, a World Cup, McKinnon Stanley Cup champion. So
isn't that what Dylan Larkin was saying? Is that the Americans don't go to like the World Cups in the summer as much anymore?
The World Championships, they don't really
the World
go.
Championship.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys need to get off the couch and actually go to that stuff because you can tell because Canada sounds like a pretty good team.
We always send a good roster, but so the World Championships are always like an iffy tournament because again, if like I think Crosby's only been once and he won, but like it's kind of thing like once you win one, you don't. It's every summer, you don't really care that much. Or if guys go deep in the playoffs, okay, I'm not. I just lost Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't really want to go to Czechia and fucking play in this tournament or whatever. But this summer, this upcoming World Championship, you're going to see who everyone possibly go because it's a tryout now. This is a tryout for Winter Olympics for Italy, and I can't wait for that. I think our team's going to look, somewhat different. I think Bedard makes that team. I think Celebrini has a good chance of making that team. I mean, you have Shea Theodore, who they can talk about injuries all they want. I mean, Quentin Hughes is a big one. He's probably the best defenseman in the world. Or him and Makar are kind of 1A, 1B. And yes, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk didn't play like the second half of that game. There's rumors he might be like done for the season, like done for the regular season. He could not skate. He did not look good. But
it was his groin, right?
It was his groin, yeah. But Canada, I mean, we didn't have Shea Theodore, he's point for game defenseman, one of the best teams.
Did he break his wrist?
He broke his wrist game 1, 5 minutes in. So we didn't have him.
Jesus.
We didn't have Pietrangelo, his partner, on Vegas. And we didn't... Who else got hurt? Whatever. I don't know.
Well, Makar just was sick for the Saturday game, so they brought in Thomas Hartley, who actually played pretty well.
He played really good. I was
considering
surprised.
They just kind of stuck him in, and then there's a picture of him standing behind the doorway as Makar's on the ice.
Yeah, he played
pretty good.
He played good. I mean, he played a lot, too. For a 20-year-old kid, I don't believe he was the first guy that was called. I feel like there's higher up guys who are like, not fuck you, but okay, no, I'm already on vacation now. Like, I'm sorry. But now think about it. I mean, this, again, with that hype, I don't know what guy wouldn't want to come to that, but I guess they both Team Canada and USA Hockey, they both like taking a really young guy to help mold them for future tournaments. I mean, fuck, what a decision. Yeah, I mean, I think for Italy, I think Bedard makes the team. I think Celebrini has a good chance to make the team. Goaltending, I mean, it's hard not to just keep Binnington, who I'm hearing rumors of possibly going to Edmonton, which would be, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that move. I feel like him and Skinner are very similar goaltenders, but again, one has a Stanley Cup and a Four Nations gold, so
Edmonton just got blown the fuck out by Washington too.
This Washington team, man, I tweeted
It's
about
ridiculous.
it. I thought they were going to be a best top or bottom 10 glorified lottery team, and they're pushing for the President's Trophy, and Ovechkin is getting
He's like 17.
40-year-olds.
He's 17 goals away.
He's 13. He's 13
Oh,
goals
13
away.
goals away.
He's 13 goals away. It's insane. Yeah, I thought the dog days were in store for Washington, but now you have Dylan Strome, who's a point per game centerman, Connor McMichael, who's just under point per game 20-year-old, Alexei Protis, 6'6" Bulgarian or belt, what the hell he is, monster, who's like a point per game player. This team's insane. The future's not done. They have Ryan Leonard, who captained the USA World Junior Hockey team, who was like tournament MVP. And you have a WHL star, Andrew Cristal, who has over 100 points in WHL. Like, this team is not going away. And you have Logan Thompson, who now, I mean, who people said should be on Team Canada. I mean, he could be in the Olympics. Who knows? He's like having a Vezina caliber season right now. But what I heard about Logan Thompson is, so they have, the Team Canada had two Vegas bench bosses, Bruce Cassidy, who's the head coach now, and I think Peter DeBoer, who did coach Vegas. I heard that they didn't have good relationships with Logan Thompson and didn't have a good experience with him. So that's probably a reason, which is the only reason that makes sense to me because, again, he's literally top 3 in Vezina right now. So it makes sense now, but it doesn't matter. Binnington won us the game, and Canada owns hockey, as everyone thought. My video that I posted about Canada owning hockey got a lot of comments, and it was great to see. It was great to see.
I was dying. So you texted me on Thursday and you're like, do you see all these comments, this guy? And I was like looking at it or whatever. And then we get to Quebec. So it's 6.5 hours later. And I look, and when I originally looked, it was like 20 comments or whatever. I look, there's 48 fucking comments. I was like,
well, there's over
reading a book.
There's over almost 300 now.
Oh my God.
People are still commenting. So this guy had I don't want to go at people's throats. I just try to hit him with facts because the way he said it, like, I'm not going to say, oh, you're a pussy, you're a loser, all this. Like, no, that's not going to do anything. Like, he said Canada is overrated at hockey, which I just couldn't believe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous considering the video lays out all the facts. 26-2
in gold medals, 10-2 in Olympic gold medals. Like, it doesn't make any... It's like, oh, like, yeah, but I've been hearing this argument so many times that, yeah, but the American teams have won the Stanley Cup, all this. It's like, hey, yes. Florida had 14 Canadians to 5 Americans. Vegas last year, 2 seasons ago, they had over 20 Canadians or Americans. I don't give a shit where the team is. Yeah, we have a Canadian team with 193. It's because of the income tax, all these no state taxes, or the teams are dominating now, which makes sense. We're talking about actual product from Canada. It's bar none. There's no one even close. Like back in the 80s, yes, it was probably like 90% Canadians, 10% everywhere else. And yes, the margin has shortened. It's probably 60% Canadians or 55, whatever, than the rest of the world, which, yes, it is shortening, but it's not even close to any other country. It's great to see all these countries, like in the World Cup and Olympics, when there's going to be 8 to 10 teams, like Czechia, Germany with Drysdale. It's going to be unbelievable. I don't care if Canada, like, no one's even close to them. No one's even close. And then after the game, well, his last comment was, you will see dominance. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then right after the win, I just said, we sure will. Right after the win. And I just tagged at him. And I was like, hey, I'm not going to come and be like, oh, fuck you. Like, oh, I don't, whatever. Because I know he probably would have, but whatever. But then he's just been getting raided by Canadians. It's like, oh, this aged well. 11th province. And then he actually had a pretty funny response. He just, because he got tagged by like 40 people. He just responded with every person who commented at him, just said, tagged him, and he said, congrats. Which, hey, it's all you can do, right? But,
no, yeah, it's so funny.
Then he just messaged me a photo of McDavid. there's a photo of McDavid, and I was like, I didn't know what to say, so I just liked it. I was like, oh. when I saw a message request from this guy, I was like, oh, he's coming.
You should have said, "Why are you sending me a photo of your father?"
Before we go ahead,
I was just gonna say my favorite was Spitting Chicklets. I was listening to it on the way home.
Oh, so good.
It's like, all right, put us in a body bag, Biz, and he goes, "No, I'm not gonna do that. You know, Canadians, we take the high road." And he goes, and then at the end of it, he's like, "Our time, our game, fuck you." It's like he had an Italian mob scene.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
Before we move on from the Four Nations, I kind of want to go through each team very briefly and kind of talk about a player that you're buying stock and selling stock on. Because this tournament really opened. Like, I mean, when you had best,
I think we're gonna have the same one for the U.S.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about him later. He has the weirdest first name that's spelt wrong, but
I can't say his first name.
But we'll start from the bottom to the top in terms of placing. But Finland, I mean, I'm selling Patrick Laine. He has an insane shot. Insane. You could still argue he's one of the best shots in the league. Just he's so slow. He just glides in the air. He's a power play guy, which, hey, is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing whatsoever.
Isn't there this crazy statistic like he hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal in like a crazy amount of periods?
I think he's like 15 goals this year and like 14, or maybe all of them are power play. I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure almost all of them are.
Yeah, he just, again, he's a power play guy. It's not bad to have a guy on a team, but he's making like $8 million right now, and he's not a good skater. He's not a motivated player. And I don't know if he talked about this last time, but he was on Spin Chicklets and he said, like, because he's known as a gamer, right? He's known as a big time gamer. And he's like, that's all. He said apparently like in each city he'd buy a new TV to play video games or something like that or whatever. But he says not true. He doesn't game that much. But then he ended with saying, yeah, my longest streak is like 18 hours in a row. And they're like, oh, okay. So recently, he's been on a bit of a goaling skid for a while. And the beginning of the skid was when the new Call of Duty game came out. So everyone's like, oh, okay. It's kind of hard to put one and two together.
It's like when Kyler Murray started playing shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, this guy's just playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I get
Are you selling him too? Yeah. Buying? Yeah. I mean, dude, I've been shitting on them all the time. I thought their defense I thought Esa Lindell played really good. I'll buy him from Dallas. He's known as a diver. I don't know if you've ever seen that one playoff series from 4 years ago. Art Bertuzzo cross-checked him 3 different times in the same shift, and the dives just got worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an incredible two-way defenseman. I really like his game. When we're doing these buying and sell, I don't want to just like buy like, oh, I'm buying McDavid because he's so good. Like I want to try and find other guys, right? Like Lindell, I thought on an injured decor, I thought he played really good. Who's Heiskanen's partner?
His goal against Canada. His goal against Canada was gross.
Yeah, his far side posting in.
It was gross.
That game was horrifying. We talked about it last week, but
it was horrifying.
So unless you have any other guys to bring up, we're going to go to Sweden. Selling? Who am I selling? Thinking about this before.
Sweden's tough.
I don't think a lot of guys underperformed or overperformed.
It kind of felt like a little bit that. I don't really know. Yeah, no one really underperformed.
Actually, I'm
Ekholm played gross.
He played good. I'm gonna buy Erik Karlsson. I thought
I was just about to say that
2017 Ottawa Senators Erik Karlsson. I thought he looked motivated. He skated. He moved the puck.
Actually, I'm gonna sell Elias Pettersson. I'm gonna sell.
Actually, yeah, it's the obvious one,
invisible.
But dude, I don't know what's going on with it was I don't know if it was the American game or the Canada game where it was a 2-on-1 and he pulled up. Like me and my brother were watching highlights the other day. It's just like. Before, he would be coming screaming down the left wing and just teeing up a clapper going far side bar down. I don't know what is wrong. My brother says he's convinced he has an injury. Like, there's no way you can go from 100-point Selke nominee, 40-goal, 50-goal player to literally being a third-line equivalent right now. He has to be playing hurt. It has to be a knee or something because this is a different player. It's a different player than what we saw a few years ago. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, even though it's the obvious one, I'm selling him too. Yeah, I don't even know. He's just not that guy right now.
I'm gonna buy Eriksson Ek.
My God, that's an obvious. Yes.
Unbelievable. I don't watch Minnesota that much, so I didn't really know. But man, He was crazy. Like, crazy.
Two-way game, just competitive.
Yeah.
Hooky, just, I mean, I don't know if he's a Stanley Cup champion, like number one centerman, but dude, he's an elite's number 2 or just a borderline solid number 1. I mean, he's a big reason why Minnesota's so high in the rankings right now. They got stud in Minnesota. I completely forgot about him. Yeah, 100%. So it told you how underrated he is. I completely forgot about him.
Dude,
right.
same with Brock Faber on the U.S. I completely forgot he was on Minnesota too. Like, Minnesota's just got a sneaky good team for like the last 3-4 years.
The fact that he's like 20, 21 years old, Brock Faber.
Yeah,
well, going to the U.S., we'll start with the selling. I mean, there's a few guys who I thought underperformed. A lot of people said Jack Hughes. I don't think he actually played that bad. I thought in the championship game, he got pushed around a lot. He's not that type of player. But I thought throughout the tournament, I thought against Canada, he made some plays. He fed Matthews a bunch of times. Still looked like he had effort out there. But I'm selling Adam Fox. Like, he is not, again, people say he has an injury, but he's an insane offensive guy, power play guy. He won a Norris a few years ago. But I heard a quote, because they're talking about nonstop because New York media. Really say people love playing against him because he is just a milk bag in the corners, and you can just toss him off the puck. And
people are saying that's why, because Fox was down in the corner with Marner, and people are saying that's why Matthews went over.
I don't blame him, because Marner would have put him in a blender, but yeah.
Matthews is looking at Mitchie like, no, please don't.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. No one else I'd really sell. Like, I mean,
Larkin played gross.
Larkin played phenomenal. I think he's a...
Miller was a little invisible. Like, other than the fight, but he wasn't there to score, yeah. I was surprised that they didn't go with Kyle Connor.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 4th in the league in goals right now, right?
Kreider
didn't really do anything.
Kreider didn't really do anything.
He had a hit on Jarvis, but that was about it.
But at least Kyle Connor is going to shoot the puck towards the net, you know? I mean, not that they didn't have chances, but...
For a guy I'm buying, I don't know how we say his name. It's Jacob. I think it's Jacob or something, because he has 2 C's in his name. Yes. 2 C's for Jacobs. I think it's Jacob. He pronounced both C's. This Slavin motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, just
he proves as to why there needs to be 2 defenseman awards. Because he's not going to get the 80 to 100 points at Hughes and McCarty, which... it's just you cannot not give a Norris to that guy, but you need a 2-way defenseman award, like an Adam Foote award or Chris Pronger or something, and maybe name the Norris the Bobby Orr award or something. Like, I was thinking that there should be a most points by a defenseman. You know, there's the Art Ross, just most points in the league. There should be a Bobby Orr award, most points by a defenseman. I don't know why you don't do that. And maybe keep the Norris for the best 2-way or best defensive defenseman. He was you didn't get, when I saw McDavid flying out there, but I was like, oh, it's Slade. I was like, okay, we're not getting a fucking sniff when this guy's on the ice. The best stick I've ever seen, the best gap control I've ever seen. Bill Guerin needs to do anything in his power to bring over Slavin to Minnesota for him and Faber to play together. They log like 30 minutes a night. This kid's like 20 years old. They looked unstoppable in the defensive end. And they can move the puck. Like, they're not liabilities on the offensive end either.
No, they play great. One guy as well, Jack Eichel. He's kind of like just an underrated superstar. He's so good at skating.
He flies. You could really argue, because of his playoff performance and everything he's done, you could argue he's the best American. Like, honestly, like, he is unbelievable. Like, obviously, it's Quinn Hughes, but this tournament. But, like, he's just so much noticeable out there sometimes in Matthews. Like, he flies. He moves the puck. He can wire it. And he's defensively liable. Like, if he could cheat the game, he's like a 40 and 40 guy. 40 goals, 40 assists, 80 points. He never really goes more than that. It's because if he wanted to cheat the game, he can get more. But he's so reliable both ends of the ice. I love Eichel. He's unbelievable.
Same with I was not surprised, but Gensel's playing as well. I hadn't really watched a ton of him.
He's so sneaky.
He is just sneaky.
He doesn't like toe drag guys. He doesn't really flash. He's in the right spot. He can fly. Great stick. I love Gensel.
I don't know. Like, it felt like kind of what the U.S.'s team was relying on. Is just like, everyone do your job.
Yeah.
And we can power through. And whereas the Canadians is like, the back end guys do your job. Let us win the game. You know?
All right, we're going to move on to Canada now. There's a few guys that I thought that you could buy. One being, I absolutely thought, this is an underrated guy. I thought he played phenomenal. I'm going to say Colton Parayko. I thought he was so good. People were really shocked when he made the team, but I mean, he's our biggest guy by a mile. Not a single person was fucking with him. He can move the puck. Like, he was patient in the corners, patient behind the net. I loved how he played. Yeah, who do you got for who do you think?
I go Hagel.
Yeah, of course. Hagel. He thought he.
It's hard not to, especially I hated him when he played for Tampa, especially when they're playing in the playoffs and everything. But I mean, it's hard to hate him now. It was just like for real when. After the fights and everything, there's a video that came out, and it was like, he just won the hearts of millions of Canadians or something like that. I was like, yeah, sure did. And he played like amazing. Him and Point, I was surprised with.
People were dogging on Cirelli. Cirelli didn't do too much, at least offensively. I thought he was solid. I mean, great in the faceoffs, great in the penalty kill. I wish he would have created a bit more, but I mean, you could tell he has chemistry with Hagel in points. I don't hate that he was chosen. There's no one really I would sell. Maybe Cirelli because he didn't really do too much. Maybe Stone. Stone didn't really create too much for me. I mean, again, he's always a two-way guy, and he can't let the big dogs eat. But yeah, if anyone, maybe him. But I don't think, or Reinhart. I mean, Reinhart's top 3 in goals, top 4 in goals. Maybe I would like a bit more offensive production from him.
I was going to say Reinhart. Yeah, I was going to say
he had some assists. He had some assists, but he's not a flashy player. He doesn't fly down the wing. He's not super strong on the puck. He's just smart, great stick, and he can find the corners. But again, the big dogs ate Marner, McKinnon, Crosby, all those guys. So game's ours. Game will always be ours. I don't care what people say. I don't know if you have any more final remarks on the 4
I was going to say one more quick shout out. Devon Tays actually, I thought played pretty well too.
Yeah. He doesn't need Makar. I mean, they're a great pairing together, but he proves why he made this team, not just because he's Makar's right-hand man.
Makar's buddy, yeah.
He is unbelievable. Like, he is so calm, so poised. Yeah, that's a great call too. I love him too. And they got him on a great deal. I think he makes like $6.5-7 million for 5 years. So yeah, what a tournament. Again, they're probably not going to do it again. Or I promise you they won't do it again, but
no, yeah, they won't.
I don't know if
they should just get rid of the All-Star game. No, they should just get rid of it. They really should. They should do is just do, even though, like, I can't remember, it was a few years ago they did like the international team versus North America or whatever. Just do one day. Yeah. Just a game. Like one day during the All-Star break, and then give the guys the time off. Because like there's no games really on.
Every single player will be happy with. And also, you can still have All-Stars. Because, you know, those are all like in records. Like, Gretzky has the most All-Star nominations. You can still have mid-season All-Star picks. You just don't need to do anything for it. It
would be the same that I would suggest for the NFL. Is like, you can still have Pro Bowl. But even with the NFL, it's like you have the Pro Bowl team and then you have the AP All-Pro team. So it's like...
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
You know, what's the point? It's like...
Yeah.
It's just these All-Star games, like the NBA All-Star game was shit. Like, these All-Star games are not fun. The demographic who's going to watch it is younger kids who want to go and see their favorite players, which is great. Yeah. But if you're going to do it that way, make it centric to that demographic. Don't try to market it to the rest of us who are just excited for playoffs.
Yeah, and there's no way they're making that much profit off this All-Star game. I can't see
the only thing they're making money off. The only thing they're making money off is like the jerseys and stuff. Like when they did it in Toronto and they had the fucking star jerseys or whatever. Yeah, which even I thought were so ugly.
Yeah, they weren't very.
And they're not. They're only making money off the people who go there. And the only reason they're making money is because the jerseys are fucking $150 a pop, right?
Minimum, yeah. Yeah. So moving on from the Four Nations again, what a tournament. Not a lot coming from the Leafs. I mean, 2-0 since the start, or since the end of the Four Nations break. They played Carolina on Saturday, 4-0 lead. I think our bottom 6 has carried us through these last 2 games, which is huge as kind of Marner, Nylander, Matthews get their legs back.
Yeah, Holmberg had 2 goals on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was so funny. People were like, I have to go from the Four Nations best on best to Holmberg being the best player on the ice.
Yeah, okay, Holmberg had 2 goals, and then Sunday, Nick Robertson had 2 goals.
Yeah. Shout out Alex Steves, first NHL goal. If he can kind of be that next McMahon who's come up immediately, just kind of put up a good amount, like just 10 goals, 20, 15 goals, whatever. So because he leads the AHL in goals and he's like top 4 in points or whatever. So if he can do that, that was awesome. Again, top stars were kind of invisible as expected. Bit of a scare, 4-0, the 4-3, just like the Finland game. But Stolarz played great. The kind of goals against them were kind of unlucky. A puck bounced right in front of Slavin, wide open net. But big dub there against a really good team in Carolina. Then Chicago last night. Again, I was turning it on and on or off and on. Boring game, won 5-2. Again, secondary players picked it up. Robertson scored 2 from Domi twice. Tanev to McCabe. Again, one of my favorite pairings in the league. And a solid game for Wall. I mean, I wish I could give you more for these past 2 games. There was not really much. Next 3 games are really big for Toronto. Boston on Tuesday. Penguins on Friday. Rangers on Friday. Penguins on Sunday. And a guy who I feel bad for on the Penguins is Sidney fucking Crosby. He has to go from playing with McKinnon, McDavid, Marner, Makar to playing with Michael Bunting and losing 8-3 to the Washington, or was it 8-3 or whatever to the Washington, 7-3 to the Washington Capitals.
Dude, if I'm Sid, I'm going back and I'm like, listen here, fucking Dubas.
Send me to Denver. Please.
Send me the fuck away. Send me to Vegas. Send me somewhere.
Yeah. He is he's a Canadian legend. Just again, he's there because he wants to be there.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be traded. Like, I think he wants to spend the rest of his career there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the rest of your career, realistically, what, he's 36?
36, 37, yeah.
Yeah. You're not getting that many more years, dude. Plus, you're playing you got the Olympics coming up, which the nice thing about the Olympics is that there's no fucking crazy hitting. Yeah. So, you don't got to worry about that.
It's really physical, but they'll definitely tie it down a lot more. International hockey play can be a lot cleaner, I'd say. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad for Sid the Kid.
I do too. The last bit of hockey news I want to talk about is... So next episode 8, that will be releasing again on Wednesday, or next following Wednesday. It'll probably be the last podcast we have before the trade deadline, which we're going to do a heavy trade deadline show next week. That's probably what we'll talk about the whole time. But a guy I want to talk about one of the biggest trades we've ever seen, at least I've ever seen in the past 10, 20 years or whatever. And it was one of the early days of Buds Mafia. It's probably like the first or second podcast episode we talked about it. Mikko Rantanen could be traded again. Apparently they offered him a 9-digit number, and he doesn't want to sign it yet. He's unsure. It's probably, I'm trying to think of the number here, but 8 years, probably 12.5 to 13 million a year, probably. Heavy front loaded, probably massive in signing bonuses and everything. But I don't think he wants to play in Carolina, and I don't blame him. Not that they can't win a cup this year, not that they're not a good team. I still think he wants to play in Carolina.
I mean, you gotta think if you're him too. Like, you just got traded. It was kind of out of the blue. You're kind of reeling a little bit and like kind of getting over. Yeah. It's like It's like not a breakup, but like a little bit of a breakup.
I mean, he was there for 8 years. Like, yeah, it's a lot of
life. It's a breakup. It's definitely a breakup.
It's a breakup. It's
like you're reeling a little bit, and then you get offered a contract in a place that you're not really comfortable in. You have barely been there. Then you went and played for your fucking country for 2 weeks, and then you come back, and it's like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, I'm still a human being.
Exactly.
I'm not just a name that you get to put on your banners. Like,
I'm not going to sign an 8-year no move clause, $100 million extension to a place I was here for a few weeks. Like, it takes time. But so here's the breakdown of it. So his salary right now is obviously getting retained for his last year right now. So he makes, I don't know, just under 5, Carolina's only paying him under 5 because Chicago is paying like that other half of his contract or whatever. So if he gets traded again and they can retain his salary even more, so I know Toronto's in the mix for him. If a team trades for him and Carolina retains another half of that contract, a team could get him for only $2.3 million
for the rest
of the season, because he's getting retained twice, which the max retainment I think is like 50%. So he's getting 50% from Chicago, and then they're 50ing that percent, whatever. So basically, you're paying 25% of his contract, which is like $2.3 million. So, but since that's so easy to move cap around, only $2.3 million, his trade value is only going to go up now, because yes, if his salary was higher, then it'd be harder to move cap around, and so there'd be more leeway for a team to give him up. But since he's only going to be making 2.3, or at least if Carolina will retain it, his stock is so much higher. Like, oh my God, this is a 50 goal scorer, and for this season we're paying him 2.3. So if Toronto were to get him, it'd be like a first, a second, probably Cowan, Robertson, and probably another second. Like, this guy's a 50 goal scorer, 100 point getter. Put him with Marner and Matthews. Like, you're giving up Cowan, a first, Robertson, a second, and probably something else, because he's making 2.3. There's zero chance that you re-sign him.
I was gonna say then there's no chance. Like he's a
full-on rental. It's a full-on rental. No, whoever's getting him right now is a full-on rental. Edmonton's in the mix, which that gives me nightmares. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Rantanen.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so that's exciting.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah,
like God damn.
I try not to feel bad for guys who are about to sign $100 million, but yeah, I mean, and Stanley Cup champion.
It is tough. Yeah, it is tough to feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's like it's a business. Dude, did you see the NFL cap?
No, I didn't.
It got bumped up to $277.5 million.
What is it now?
That's what it's at. I think it was at 250 before.
Interesting.
Yeah, so increases estimated for the cap, which was $255 million and $224 million in 2023. In other words, the last 2 years, the increase will be at least $53 million. So it was at $224 million in 2023, and the final amount will be in the range of $277 to $281 million.
All right.
Myles Garrett to the Bills.
Yes, sir. So we're going to head over to that. Speaking of that, we're going to head over to some NFL talk. Not a lot, but again, every week we're going to break down some free agency and trades. I'm going to go through a list with you because you're more the NFL guy. I'm going to go through your list of some free agents, where you think they're going to go. We'll talk about that, and then we're going to head over to some trade targets and where you think they're going to go as well, all right? For the free agents, there's a bunch of O-linemen. I'm not going to fucking bother with those. But number one on this Fox Sports list is T. Higgins. I mean, probably the number one receiver on this list. Kind of what do you think is his prediction with him, where do you think he's going to go, and kind of what's it looking like?
I feel like he would re-sign, but I saw a quarterback tweeting, I can't remember who it was. Someone who played with him in university or college. I can't remember who it was.
It was Clemson. He was Clemson, was he not?
Yeah. So it might have been Trevor Lawrence.
It was Trevor Lawrence, because I think he's been trying to recruit him over to Jacksonville.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jacksonville makes some sense. You have Gabe Davis, who really only was a highlight on the Bills because of his big playability, but Trevor Lawrence doesn't have the same kind of Trevor Lawrence doesn't have the same kind of game IQ, in my opinion, that Josh Allen has. The Jags would make sense, though.
I heard they're going to probably cut Charlie Kirk, which frees up 10, 20
Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk, sorry.
Charlie Kirk is a fucking political commentator.
I've seen so much of him, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is getting cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he's probably, which frees up, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, or whatever.
Which is so crazy because he is a good receiver. The deal they paid him was ridiculous.
I remember that at the time, yeah.
It was ridiculous, but he is a good receiver. He just broke his collarbone last year.
Yeah, so sucks to suck.
But yeah, so the Jags could make sense. I saw people saying the Bills. I don't think the Bills make sense because it really depends on what they do with, the Bills have so many moves they need to make.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say the Jags or a team that's drafting a younger quarterback who are looking to mold a new connection. To be honest, he did a lot this year, but wasn't as good as previous years.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we're going to talk about probably the best or the best quarterback on the market, former Minnesota Viking, Sam Darnold. I think there's a very interesting one. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I think he could stay. I think he can go to a bunch of places. Where do you have him going for 25-26?
It really depends on what happens in the draft. But realistically, I think the Vikings brought Daniel Jones in as a safety net in case they can't get a deal done with Darnold. I think they will try to get something done. Now, just the performance in the playoffs really kind of shits the amount of money that he was supposed to get.
He's probably looking at over $40 million, and now he's maybe looking at high 20s, 30, 35 million, maybe around there.
Yeah. You know what? For how he played this year, I don't understand how you're not going to re-sign him. But I also get that you have J.J. McCarthy, but who is also a rookie QB who's never played in the league other than in preseason and is coming off an ACL injury. So, I would keep him if I was the Vikings, but if the Vikings don't keep him, I could see him, going to a Tennessee, depending on who Las Vegas drafts, a Vegas, maybe even, we were talking about Stafford to New York.
Yeah.
The Giants, say the Giants bring in a younger quarterback, but I don't think Darnold's going to go to a place where he knows that he's going to be replaced. That's why I think, certain, make a little bit more sense. Like Tennessee would make sense, some sense.
Yeah, I got that.
But I think Tennessee's probably going to draft a QB too.
Yeah, all right. Heading to the defensive side. He absolutely balled out for the Eagles. Zach Bond. Do you think he re-signs with Philly, or do you think he's just going to chase the bag because he's definitely going to be thrown at him this offseason?
They're unbelievably dumb if they don't re-sign him. They have someone who commands a defense, especially at the linebacker position, because you have such control over the field. You can talk to the secondary as well as get the front line set up, and you have someone who controls the game like that. Like, I won't lie, that's what. Like, I used to love Tremaine Edmonds, who played for the Bills, but I loved him as just like a linebacker, not like an actual like leader on the field.
Yeah.
Whereas that's what Zach Bond is. Like, you can tell, like, Luke Kuechly, when he's on the field, he's getting people set up. He's getting people in the right places. He's calling out plays before they're there. Clay Matthews, you can go through the list of all of these different linebackers who are absolutely amazing. But yeah, they're ridiculous if they don't re-sign him. It's just, I could not see him going anywhere else considering they just won a Super Bowl. Like, if he was smart, ring chasing in Philly would be smart to me.
Yeah.
Could he go to like a contender team, like maybe out to LA, get some nice weather, maybe down to Miami, Miami fix up their fucking linebacker core, but I think they re-sign him.
All right, I'll do one more. There's a bunch of great names on this list. Obviously, Chris Godwin, Khalil Mack, Nick Bolton, Josh Sweat, a lot of great players on this list, but I'm going to go to a lower guy. Well, the all-time greats, his career in New York seems to be done. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers goes to if he decides not to retire, which I don't think he's going to retire?
I think it kind of depends on these rookie QBs coming in. If I'm a GM, I'm not bringing him in to coach up a rookie QB, but you kind of saw what he did with Jordan Love. And even like he wasn't super happy about that they drafted a quarterback. Yeah. But Jordan Love is good. Not great, good. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe Tom gives him a call and is like, Aaron, come play for Vegas for a year. Don't worry. We'll get you all the weapons you want and coach up fucking whoever, Like, I don't know. Yeah. People are saying Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a fucking overflux of quarterbacks.
Why is this? Why want as many quarterbacks as possible?
Like, you know what? We want Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Give us Kenny Pickett back. Also give us Aaron Rodgers. And you know who we're going to draft? We're going to draft Jackson Dart too. Like, the fuck? No. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to head over to some trade targets. And this trade board is insane. Some of the names on this list are kind of fucked. Number one, hopefully he's heading to Buffalo, New York. Myles Garrett. I think we talked about it before. I thought the trade would honestly happen by now for Myles Garrett, but
the Browns don't want to trade him.
No, I think they don't want to trade him, and they're trying to convince him.
They're going to offer him a massive contract, and it's like, no, dude, you're a city of fucking, not Cleveland, but your football team is a fucking city of losers.
Yes, sir.
Cleveland's not, but, like, I don't know. It's just, I could see him going to the Bills, but also like in LA makes sense. A Philadelphia makes sense. The Ravens make a lot of sense. Like all of these teams that need that kind of one guy to get them over the hump to quite literally just like if you're trading for Myles Garrett, it's literally just to either beat Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, in the AFC. If he goes to an AFC team, right? Like that's who you're trading to beat.
Yeah, there's a lot of names on the list. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see. It's going to be a big old haul. I'm going to talk about another edge rusher who apparently is only like number 6 on this list because I guess the likeliness of him getting traded. But Max Crosby of Las Vegas, he said he loves it in Vegas. He would like to stay, but also he wants to win. We know how defensive players you're in your prime, and then in a few years you're done. So I think he understands that. I think it's the same list for Myles Garrett, and it would be the same similar package for Myles Garrett. So do you think it's the same type of package and same kind of destinations that are similar to Myles?
Yeah. I think Detroit makes a lot of sense for Max Crosby. Went to Eastern Michigan. Detroit makes a lot of sense playing with Aiden Hutchinson.
That'd be horrifying.
They have a ton of free agents. They're going to need like some bookends on their defense.
Yeah.
If the Bills don't get Myles Garrett, Max Crosby be cool, really cool. I kind of like that. I don't like giving up Greg Rousseau, though, and I think you probably would.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that.
I don't mind giving up Greg Rousseau, but I think just considering the year he had this year, we didn't really have any other edge rush. And to be quite honest, like Ed Oliver wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
He was good, but he wasn't great. So
Right.
I don't know. I think if Max Crosby gets moved, it'd be like a Philly, a Detroit, somewhere like that. Like considering or even like maybe a Houston. Like, he grew up in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm pretty sure he grew up in Texas. Yeah, he went to high school in Texas.
Yeah. All right, a name that's kind of this guy, you don't really understand a feel on him. Like he had a very down year this year, but I'm talking about Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. He basically said on his public announcement or his public comments, he just basically said like I wouldn't mind being moved or just talking about I want to win or whatever. So what do you think?
He backtracked everything.
Did he backtrack everything? I mean, not surprised.
I thought he backtracked it on talking with Ryan Clark. Because Ryan Clark was like, you know what made me mad about Ryan Clark makes me so angry as a media personality. He seems like a good dude and like for real, but let me get a little sidetracked here for a second. He is just so him and RG3. I cannot stand for some reason.
I don't stand either. Yeah,
I loved RG3 as a football player. He kind of had the same Tony Romo effect to me. Like he was good, and then as an analyst, and then it was like just like superficial stuff and kind of not fun. Like it's just, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Tyreek backtracked his comments and said that he would like to stay.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, said that he would stay. I mean, with a guy like that, I wouldn't be surprised if like in 2 weeks it's like, no, I was being for real. Or if he gets moved, the Dolphins got to figure it out. Like the Dolphins, you have two of the best wide receivers in the league. Like Jalen Waddle is gross. Tyreek is gross. Jalen Waddle's just been cursed with some injuries.
Yeah.
You have Devon Achane, who is a good young running back who got hurt this season. Like your O-line is kind of shit. Your defense, had bad injuries this year, and like they're gonna have to move off Javon Holland maybe.
Yeah, he's on that trade bait list or agency list.
And like he's another guy. Like he's not as big name as like Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, but like if the Bills can get like a Javon Holland or like they need something, but the AFC East really needs. I went into last year thinking the AFC East was the toughest division in football.
It was gonna be a dogfight, but it ended up so far from it.
It was a fucking pillow fight.
Yeah,
it was a pillow fight. The Dolphins were struggling. They had to win their last game of the season, have the Bengals lose, have this happen.
Yeah.
Like the Bills won the AFC East in like week 12.
I know.
Like, I don't know. It's bad when Josh Allen's new fiance, who I'm not sure how long she's been watching football, other than the amount of time that she's been with Josh, is saying she was answering interview questions, and they're like, can you name the 4 teams in the AFC East? And she's like, the Bills and their 3 sons. I was like, all right,
that's our queen. That's the queen. Yeah. I don't know if you have any more NFL talk. We're also going to be talking. I'm very excited for this NFL draft. This is the most I've watched.
I just got one more thing.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Fucking James Cook. Listen. Stop being a bitch. Stop being a bitch. I think you deserve to be paid. I'm not sure if it's $15 million, but if it is, you better score 1 million fucking touchdowns, lead the league in rushing, and have a better year than Saquon. Because if you think you deserve $15 million after rushing for 1,009 yards, 15 touchdowns in the regular season, and Saquon literally went for over 2,000 yards and had 1 million touchdowns and is the reason why the fucking Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and he's not getting paid that, take your fucking money and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Stop putting the Bills and myself through this dumb shit. I thought we were done. Stephon Diggs left, and I thought we were done.
James Cook, you hear that? Stop being a bitch. All right.
Stop being a bitch.
All right. So again, we're gonna be talking a lot more about the draft as it comes. I think when's the draft? Like mid-April, something like that.
April, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that more as the offseason goes on.
You know what's so tough though is the Masters is like usually always it's the first weekend of April, which is huge, and then it's usually like the draft is like the end of April.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna care about the draft when the Masters.
I know, I'm pissed. We were going to golf, but I realized I'm in Vegas for the Masters.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. That's really tough.
No, I mean, no, it's actually not tough because then on the Sunday, we're going to go to a sports book.
I was saying
just
for
sit
me,
down.
I was saying
For you.
I'm not going to be in Vegas. It's tough for me, dude.
This guy is.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting in my sports book in my apartment.
Yeah, sports books on your phone. Yeah, because Chris and Nick they don't give a shit about the Masters.
I'm not watching the Masters with them.
Nick doesn't even know what the Masters is.
If you can't tell me where the Masters is, I don't want to watch the Masters with you.
All right, just so talk about golf. We're dead even now. We're back to 2-2. We're back to even after a huge win in Mexico, the Mexico Open. I actually watched a bit of it. It was actually the course looked awesome. It was a decent playing field. So I chose, because I won last week, and I think I chose first last week. I had Akshay Bhatia, who finished 9th, CT Pan, who finished 68th, and I picked Kurt Kitayama, who was cut. Awesome. In Jackson,
sweet.
Aaron Rye took him to victory. He was tied for 4th. A great showing, the double-gloved man. Emiliano Grillo finished 65th, and Eric Von Ruyen finished 59th. So
I thought he was going to finish a lot higher.
It was his last day. He finished 5 over. So he was like 20th or something. Then he dropped a lot.
There's some big names. Fucking Kiz is playing in this one.
It's the Cognizant Classic.
Yeah, is it an elevated tournament? No,
it's not. But no, there's some great.
Every time I see this French guy's name, Mathieu Pavon, he was.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember in the Olympics?
Yeah.
He was leading and then just shit the bed. And I was mad because it's in front of the entire country in France. Dude, that was like, what's his name? Fucking, why can't I think of his name? The Korean kid who hangs out with Scotty.
Tom Kim.
Tom Kim. Yeah, if he won, he wouldn't have had to do his mandatory military service. All right, I'm first.
Well, there's some good names on this list.
There's some great names here.
All right, who you got first here?
Like, I want to take Spieth first because I know if I don't, you will. But I also, we haven't picked a Canadian. And I feel like if there's a Canadian in the tournament, we kind of have to pick him. But I'll wait. I'll take Spieth first.
I don't know if I would have picked him first. I love this guy. The Irishman, I'm picking Shane Lowry.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm gonna take a Canadian. I'm gonna take Adam Svensson.
All right. I'm gonna take Sung Jae Im. Yeah, I like my nuts.
Yeah, I don't like my. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose. Actually, give me this guy. Give me Minwoo Lee.
Damn it! That's who I was gonna pick. My team would have been stacked if I had him.
Damn, dude, there's some good names. I haven't heard Francesco Molinari's name in a while. Sorry, go ahead.
What was the tournament before? He was decent at Torrey Pines, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember though.
He won last year.
No, I really want to go with Mackenzie, but honestly, just because I love him, I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler. He had a tough showing at Pebble Beach, but I think he's going to bounce back at this tournament, so I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler.
Sweet.
So I got Ricky, Shane Lowry, Sung Jae, and you have Jordan Spieth,
Svensson, and Minwoo Lee.
Minwoo. All right. I'm excited so we're 2-2 right now in this right now. We're just back and forth. For the majors, we got to make that count for more points or something. That has to count towards a lot more. We'll have to do some more stakes for that.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with an actual prize or punishment. We'll make it like seasons too. Punishment.
Yeah, because there's one guy who I follow he's a really good US hockey. He's kind of our age. His name is Mike Bartner. He's a really high end kind of hockey guy, and he on live he chugged a bottle of maple syrup as his punishment. He did that to himself, which I thought was actually pretty funny.
I will never be doing that.
He was just gagging.
I'll have fucking type 2 diabetes if I do that.
That's all right. It's worth for the content. All right, let's finish off with some of these segments here, unless you want to talk about anything else. I didn't watch the UFC. I heard it was a great card, but I didn't really watch any of it.
Good, but I'm not going to lie. We spent the entire day on the slopes, and we were only 6 minutes away from where our Airbnb was.
Yeah.
I got a little bit into one on the slopes, and then I was pretty into one when I got home. And we were trying to watch the UFC, but we were also playing poker. I played poker till 2 a.m.
There you go.
But we didn't have poker chips, so we were using lima beans, and
that's huge.
It was so fun. But no, the UFC, the only thing was that Cejudo got eye poked by
I thought he couldn't
Songdong,
see.
and then like he couldn't see, and then they stopped it in the third. He was kind of getting worked too, to be honest. Like he was fighting well, but I don't know. To be honest, the UFC hasn't really done much for me lately. Like I'm excited for the Pereira Ankalaev card, but like the only time I really am really talking about the UFC is with Nick.
I'm excited. Yeah, sadly, I'm excited for the Hooker Gaethje fight. I think that's gonna be a bloodbath.
That's on the Pereira Ankalaev card. I'm pretty sure.
When is that? Do you remember?
2/14 or 3/14, I think. I'm pretty sure that's either the end of February. No, not the end of February. It'd be like beginning of March. So the next fight is this weekend, and then 3/13 it's in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. Okay, we'll do something for that.
It's crazy fights.
Nice. All right. Yeah, let's end off with our segments here. My penalty box is kind of boring. We kind of talked about it at the beginning, but we have such great national pride in Canada, and we have such a great anthem. Our anthem singers need to be locked away. It was just horrible. We need to be better in that sense.
Whoever's in charge of it. Whoever's in charge of putting.
You know what? I'll say this. I shouldn't shout out the anthem singers. Like it's not like they have a bad voice. Whatever. It just wasn't good. Whoever chooses these anthem singers need to be locked away, and we need to figure it
out. Need to be fired.
We have such a great anthem. And we need to be better, especially in like the biggest game in Canadian hockey in over like 10 years, right? So that's my penalty box. Kind of boring, kind of expected, but that's who I got.
Again, I'm not going with an actual person. Listen, these Quebec roads, you can't turn right on a red light. Let me tell you something I do like about it. Their stop signs, they have a little description or a diagram of like when it's a four-way stop.
Yeah.
So it's pictures instead of just says four-way stop, which I think could benefit some people in Ontario.
Yep.
But I was in the car yesterday for like 11 hours because I had to drive back to the cottage, drop my one buddy off, and then my lovely brother forgot to turn the heat off at our cottage because he was up there this weekend. So I had to stop at our cottage, turn the heat off, and then drive home. So I left at like 9:30 yesterday from Quebec and got back home to my apartment at like 8 p.m. Shout out to Taylor. Made me a nice steak dinner, mashed potatoes, roasted carrots. It was gigantic. It was awesome. But let me tell you, this hour and a bit, probably 2 driving out of Quebec, just god awful. I had a lady cut me off and give me the finger. It's like, I was like, the fuck? Like driving through these little cities, the only time it's nice is when you're outside of these little cities. But like their parking lot, the one parking lot we go to, we try to go to this metro. My buddy brings his truck. We're driving around this parking lot, can't find a parking spot. Right as we're about to pull into a spot, little fucking Hyundai Elantra cuts us off and then just stares at us. And we're like, oh, sick. Okay, that's cool. The parking lot is literally the size of a fucking cafeteria. It's so small. It's like, figure it out. You know,
penalty box. My experience in Quebec. Remember last year or in the summer, I got 2 tickets in like 2 days.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is like you go there with Ontario plates. I had a cop follow me for over 100 kilometers.
Yeah, they'll hunt you down.
I was going 106 in the middle lane because I wanted to go slow because I didn't want to get pulled over. But you have Ontario plates and you go through Quebec, they're gonna pull you over.
Yeah,
and the shitty thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
The shitty thing is like most parts of the 417 East going in through like down through Ottawa is 110 once you get kind of through Ottawa. And so I was just chilling, going like 128, 130.
Yeah. And
immediately cop pulls out behind me and now I'm going 110 the entire way. I'm like, God.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. I mean, in the summer, I went to Montreal for work and within 2 days, I got a jaywalking ticket for $50. And there was like 8 seconds on the clock, and I walked, and a cop car literally veered right beside me, pulled right onto the sidewalk, and gave me a ticket, which was nuts. Then I got like a $250 speeding ticket because they said I was going 85 and a 50. Which in our company we have GPS trackers and speed trackers in our vehicles, and the fastest I was going was like 65, 60, which is still speeding at a 50, sure, but I wasn't going 35 over, and I don't think it was worth of 2 demerit points. Yeah, so I feel you on that one. Let's be better.
Be better over there.
Yeah.
Either be better.
Let's get into our lock and betting the farm. So my lock, there's only 2 games tonight, sadly. I was hoping to do on a Leaf game, but that's whatever. I have the Vegas LA game, which is a very good game though. Same game parlay. I got Fiala anytime goal scorer. He's a top player who probably should have been the Four Nations for obviously he's from Switzerland. I have him anytime goal scorer. Jack Eichel a point after a long rest. I have Adrian Kempe 2 shots on goal. He just fires the puck. This $5 to win 25. I think it's a good one.
I respect. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't go through, so I'm just redoing it real quickly. But I have for my lock of the week is just I picked all the favorites. I took the Jets to go over the Sharks, the Kings over the Knights, which I'm surprised they were favored, and then I got the Heat over the Atlanta Hawks. So.
All right.
Nothing crazy for the lock of the week. I kind of need a win really badly.
But we're both 1-5, so we both need a win right now.
Kind of need a win. My last, like we talked about last week, was just Connor McDavid.
Yep.
So I need a win.
That's our guy. All right, Ben the Farm. I got 20 leg parlay. Comes out to plus 380,000, which is a light day. Yep, suck on that. I got the Nuggets over the Pacers, Clippers over the Pistons, 76ers over the Bulls, Nets over the Wizards, Heat over the Hawks, Thunder over the Timberwolves. The Thunder's minus 700 against the Timberwolves. I guess Anthony Edwards is out. Portland against Utah, Kings against Hornets, Jets over the Sharks, Vegas over the Kings. Now on the college basketball, I love betting all these random ass teams. Hampton over Stony Brook, UNC Wilmington over William and Mary. Billimarine, what the fuck it is, against Stenson. Alabama State against Bethune-Cookman. I've bet a lot against Bethune-Cookman in the past. Jacksonville over Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb is the name of the school, over Austin, PA, PEAY. Prairie View A&M, who are minus 1,700 favorites against Mississippi Valley State. North Carolina over Florida State. The Florida Gulf Coast over North Florida, Battle of Florida. And then Northeastern over Monmouth. I don't know. 20 cents to win 700.
Respect. I like it.
Lock.
Mine's is 12. 12 picks at 112,000. I got the Jets over the Sharks, the Knights over the Kings, which goes against my lock of the week, which is sick. I've got Michigan over Nebraska, Houston over Texas Tech, Kansas over Colorado. I've got Shane Lowry coming in the top 10 in the Cognizant Classic.
Ooh.
I've got the Pistons over the Clippers, and I've got Cade Cunningham having over 28 points. I've got the 76ers over the Bulls, Tyrese Maxey having over 31 points. And I've got the Brooklyn Nets over the Washington Wizards and Cameron Johnson having over 21 points. $5 to pay out $3,000. I feel better about that.
Yeah, that was a good one. You're definitely even though my locks are probably like higher odds, you're definitely are more interesting. Like you actually put player points, shot, all that stuff.
I think that was the first time I've actually like fully kind of done it this time.
Yeah.
But it's nice on DraftKings because it's just like you pick a team and it'll be like often paired with this bet. Cool. Yeah, and it'll pop up with like the person's points, and then you can kind of like scroll in between and choose however many points. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
DraftKings, please.
Settle drop.
Yeah, we're both 0-5 and Ben the Farm. Hopefully that changes. Probably won't, but that's all right.
I was telling my boys about it, and the one guy was asking me, he's like, realistically, like, when do you think you're gonna like hit one? And I was like, it's funny, I was just talking about this with my buddy. Like, I don't know if ever. Like some of these parlays are you're doing it for the fun of the fact that you realistically are like, if it does hit, wow. And the day that it does hit will be the day that you put like 20 cents on it, which is like the thing that I struggle with because I'm always sitting here. I'm like, if it does hit and I put 20 cents and I win $700, $700 is great.
I was just going to say.
What if I put $5 down and I got a couple grand?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
and then the next thing you know, I'm in Gamblers Anonymous.
Yep, I'm there right now.
No, please gamble responsibly, and DraftKings, please sponsor us. So.
Yes. Before we end it, you kind of mentioned this idea. We'll see if we start doing it, but kind of like plays of the week. I don't know if you still want to kind of do that. Honestly, I like the idea. I think moving forward, we will end it like that. Maybe play the clip, but I don't know. With the Four Nations win, I think we both have the best player, or each other's player of the week. McDavid's goal, unless you have another one. But
I was gonna say mine was Marner's dish to Bennett. So
Marner's
like
just a Bennett.
McDavid's goal I really love, but the Marner's just a Bennett. I was like,
All right, we're going to play it right now. So Marner's just a Bennett.
Again with the New York Rangers is Mitch Marner. High slot down low. Bennett scores! Sam Bennett ties it for Canada.
I'm going to play that. And then mine, I mean McDavid's goal.
Carr sends it around. Marner waiting. Connor McDavid scores! Connor McDavid for Canada!
Team Canada, fuck you USA. That's our plays of the week. Next week we'll maybe have some other options, but yeah. And you know what? It could be something stupid. It could be not even a highlight. It could just be
trust
what
me,
we loved.
I'm going cricket. I'm going cricket.
All right, man. This was a good one. Next
Yes,
week's gonna be
sir.
awesome with the trade deadline, and hopefully I win again the PGA and get my lead back. It's a good field. It's a good field in the
I like the
Cognizant
Cognizant
Classic.
Classic.
Yeah,
I like
I've
the
never heard of
Cognizant
it, so
Classic.
I love it too. All right.
All right, brother.
This is a good one. Good episode. Episode 7 of Buds Mafia. We will see you next week.
Take it easy.
Don't forget to follow Buds and Pucks on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And subscribe and follow the Buds Mafia podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. See you guys later.
Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it. They got it. And there it goes. Inside the 10 to 5. Oh, the play of the year in the NFL.